What's up, chat? Chat. What's up, chat? Oh my. Alright, let's see how this is looking. Okay. I'm new to this. Damn. Okay. Damn. Okay. Damn. Oh, that's gonna be a whole icon. Okay. I don't know what to write, bro. How to code. Okay. Hold on. Wait a second. Okay, it's healthy. Analytics, stream health. I need to check the stream health. We good. Okay, let me blur my stream for this. 1 second. I need to make it blank for a second. Okay. Oh, I might check something too. I'm just checking a few things, see if they're okay before we get started. Let's confirm a few things. Damn. Hold on. I need to put this on. I need to turn off the sound. Okay. I think we should be okay now. This should be happening. Okay, I think we're okay. Details. Blah, blah, blah. Public. That's good. I think we're fine. Okay, yeah, we're good. What's up, everyone? It's Coding with Fabs. We just, chilling. Just making things, Not too much. I just need to configure some things here. And then we'll get started in a second since it's my first. Okay, we're back. I don't know what happened. We should. Okay, yeah, we're back. Is everything good? Is everything good? Yeah. I think everything's good. Yeah. I think everything's good. Yeah. I think everything. That's loud. I need to turn that down. So, I think. Am I lagging? Am I lagging? Am I lagging? Okay, we're good. Yeah, that's it. We're done with that. This. Okay. We're good for now. So I do need to check though if this. Okay, so we use Symbol and we have to learn a couple of things. So we're doing CSS right now. I skipped these two because I already know I already know what this is. It doesn't want to come back to you later. I need to do that eventually. I finished my JavaScript fundamentals, saying 51% because I haven't finished the full video, but I did though. You see right here. I already finished these a long time ago. I already know this. I already did this. Yeah, now it's just the NFT site that we're building, and so far is where we are. And yeah. So let's turn this down a little bit. Let's see.
Okay, let's talk about compound selectors and specificity. So before, when we were working on our job adverts, we created these compound selectors. And if you'll remember, we've also got this single anchor tag selector right here. And if we were to add anything here, for example, a color of pink, nothing's going to happen because these have higher specificity. And it's nothing to do, of course, with the position. So if we cut and paste it below them, still nothing at all happens. So that really makes it clear that these have a higher specificity than the single A tag, but that also begs the question, how do you calculate specificity with compound selectors? And to understand that, we need to go back to our CSS points. So if you remember, an element gets 1 point, a class gets 10 points, and an ID gets 100 points. And to calculate them on a compound, all we need to do is add them together. So the class add container is worth 10 points, and the anchor is worth 1 point. So this gets 11, this will also have 11, and this, of course, will only have 1 point. So that's why it is beaten in specificity by these compound selectors. Okay, that's quite neat, right? It hasn't caused us any problems. So why the controversy? Well, this is a pretty simple example, and it's a bit hard to mock up a more complex example without getting really contrived or creating a massive code base. But why don't we try a little game? I just want you to focus for a moment on this key requirements list right here. So this list is coming from the HTML that we've got. If I just move the mini browser out of the way for a moment, right here. So we've got this UL and the LI elements right in the middle. Now what I'm going to do is add some HTML, which is not strictly speaking necessary for this layout, just for the purposes of this game. And I'm also going to add two somewhat more complicated compound selectors up here in the CSS underneath this UL. In fact, I'll put them underneath this challenge.
Hold on. So now compound. Select. Yes. Is it? Someone else. Child combinator. The child combinator selects all elements that are direct children of a specified element. The following example selects all P elements that are direct. The following example selects all P elements that are direct children. Oh. So all the P elements are direct children. Okay. So, oops. So look through the HTML and compound selector in the CSS below. Damn, my bad. OBS keeps on. Some bugging. So, yeah. Compound selector. So it needs a key requirements. Okay.
What I'm then going to ask you to do is to look through the HTML and the new CSS selectors that I'll put down here and figure out what color this key requirements list is going to be. I'm closing the mini browser now. Don't look at the mini browser again until you've made your guess. Okay, so here are the new compound selectors. As you can see, they are somewhat more complicated. Look through them, look through the HTML, see if you can decide what color you think that unordered list is going to be when you hit preview up here to reopen the mini browser. Pause now, have a think about that, and I'll see you back here in just a moment.
Okay, I get what it means. So, the HTML and new compound selector in the CSS below and figure out what color the key requirements list will be. So the key requirement. Okay, so this is 1 point. This is 10 points, right? Yeah, cause 10 points, I give you 100 points. So 11, 111. Oh, I think this is actually this is more. And this one's automatically gonna be green. I'm sure. Yep. Yeah. So I just check solution. Okay. Resume lesson.
Okay, so hopefully you got that right. Well, before we reopen the mini browser, let's do some maths. So if we come down here onto this one, which has the color red, well, we can see that we've got body, section, div, and li. Those are all elements, so those will have 1 point each, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've got add container and general list. These are classes which have 10 points each. That gives us a total of 24. Let's come up onto this green one here. Now, again, we've got section, UL, and LI. They will have 3E. Add container is a class, so that has 10 points. That takes us to 13. And rec list is an ID, and IDs have 100 points. So that gives us a total here of 113 points. So that means that green should be the clear winner. Let's open the mini browser and see what we've got. Yes,
I don't
there
see
we are.
these two,
These
the UL and the
islands are
LI.
listed as green. So well done if you managed to work that out. Now, this was quite contrived with extra divs and IDs going on, and I just did it really as an example to show you it wrote it much. I think that the text that we've got here is just a little bit bunched up and difficult to read. We should space it out a little bit, and we can do that really easily with the CSS line height property. So have a look at this slide. This is what we're aiming for. The text has just got a little bit more space between each line. It's easier on the eye, easier to read. So here's a challenge for you. Can you increase the line height of the paragraph text, so that is all of this text here, and of course up in section 1, can you increase that to a line height of 23 pixels? Pause now and have a go at that.
So it's a paragraph. We'll check the HTML. Just try this one out. It's a paragraph that's inside the container. No. Oh no, it's actually outside, so it's inside. Yeah, it's inside the container. And so I need to check on all the P's. What about this one? Is it the same thing? Yeah, it is. So we just make one class selector, and one selector which changes both properties. So we do container P. Let's have the preview open so we can see change as we write the code. So we want should I get to 23 pixels? Refresh that. They changed. Let's try and comment it out and see. Oh yeah, it has. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that works. I think it should be good. Right, it was.
Okay, did you see much difference when you did that? Did you see any difference? Well, if you stuck to my instructions, you would have done something like this. You selected the paragraph text, and then you did line height, and you added 23 pixels right there. And nothing is happening. Something odd is going on here. And maybe you guessed it, but the problem is specificity. So can you pause again and see?
I was correct. Yo.
Find out why this line height property is not having any effect. Pause now and do some investigating.
No, I was right. I already solved it. So incoming type container, and then check the solution. System includes the section P line height 18.4 pixels. Ooh. Copy and pasted the advice. So if we check over here, stream okay. Oh, it is. Okay, yeah. One element, bro. Element, 1 point. That's 2 points. Bro, my class should be winning. My thing should be winning. Oh, it's beef. No, it should be winning. It still contains a section P rule which overrides your new line height. Try to look at that block. I mean, okay, but not mine. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Maybe I am. Oh, that should be okay now. Check solution.
Gonna do when there's 1,000 lines of CSS? What are you gonna do when there's 8,000 lines? Well, you have
Control
got
F.
DevTools. If you look in DevTools, you'll actually see that the CSS we just wrote, this line height property, has got a line through it. And that is telling us that the browser is ignoring it because something with a higher specificity is getting in the way. And we can see right here that we have got a section, and a P container together. Now let's just scroll down a little bit, and there it is right here. So this section and the P together have got a higher specificity than the P on its own. And remember, it's nothing to do with the order of CSS. I could create a P tag right here underneath that and set the line height to what we want it to be, 23 pixels. It's still not going to have any effect. This one just has a higher specificity score. So let's delete that, and then we need to decide, do we want to set the line height specifically on the paragraph text in the sections? Well, that would actually exclude the footer. So I would say, let's delete this one here, and there we are. Now we're getting the line height we want, because the selector that we just set up here has now come into play. So that was a bit mean of me. I added some CSS without you knowing anything about it. But that was to give you a mini taste of real life. Sometimes you add some CSS to a code base and you find that it doesn't do what you expect. When that happens, you have to think about specificity and start investigating. When it comes to managing style conflicts in CSS, so far we've seen how the order of our CSS and the specificity of these selectors can both play a role. Now, there are other mechanisms to manage style conflicts, but actually we're not going to cover them all because that would get too complicated. However, I do want to look at the important keyword. Before I show you how the important keyword works, I want to give you a quick warning. What I'm about to show you is a tool which is often misused. So I'm showing it to you here, not because I want you to use it all over the place, but because you'll likely see it in the code bases you work on in the future. And also because there are some specific circumstances where it is useful. Let's see it in action, and then we'll talk about that more. So here's a really simple layout for a jokey magazine article about sofa archaeology. It's got a title and a subtitle and an image, and we can see all of that in the CSS. We've got the class of title and the class of subtitle, and it's the text that we'll be focusing on. At the moment, both the title and the subtitle are purple. And that's slightly confusing at first glance at the CSS because the subtitle has got the colour dark green. And what's more, it comes last in the style sheet. So we must have a conflict, and if we look up, we can see why. This selector covers both the subtitle and the parent container, and that gives this selector higher specificity, so it wins through. Okay, let's use the important keyword to overrule it. So I'm going to come down here, and in between dark green and the semicolon, I'm going to use the important keyword, which just involves using the exclamation mark and then the word important. And as soon as I do that, the subtitle turns dark green. Now, this is not a good idea. It would be a much better idea to deal with the problem at its root, which is up here. Why, when this is so easy? Well, because CSS is confusing enough already. When we use the important keyword, we're disrupting the natural cascading order of CSS, and that makes maintainability harder. Now we've used the important keyword, a developer trying to make changes has to understand why certain styles aren't being applied as expected. So just using important as a lazy hack is a bad idea. So when can it be useful? Well, think for a moment about accessibility. You've probably seen widgets on sites that allow users to set font size or change color schemes so as to make their browsing of the page easier. When coding something like that, depending on how the styles work in that site, it might be necessary to use the important keyword to overrule all other styles and ensure the user's choices are respected. So there are legitimate uses for it and you should be aware of it, but just don't use it as a shortcut. Okay, no challenge needed here. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. How far am I? Let's see. Ooh, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more topics.
Let's think about links and buttons because sometimes they get confused and appearances can be deceptive. Here is a banner ad for a Ferrari track day. It's
Ooh.
just a background image on a div with some text and 2 buttons. But wait there, these buttons look a bit suspicious to me. One of them is offering us some bookings, and the other is offering to show us some other offers. Now, both of those things look on the same page somewhere within the site or elsewhere on the internet. So that's the big divide. Links are for navigation, buttons are for interaction. Okay, you might be thinking, well, half of the sites I visit break that rule. I'm always clicking on buttons to take me places. Well, you might think that, but unless you're inspecting the site using DevTools or looking at the source HTML, you can't be sure, because you can style up a link to look exactly like a button. So you might ask, well, why would I want to do that then? The difference seems rather unimportant. Well, you'd be wrong. This is an accessibility issue. Speed readers and assistive technologies rely on the developer making the right decisions. So to keep your site accessible, you need to take the time to get this right. Let's have a quick look at the CSS. Making an anchor tag look like a button is fairly straightforward, and I've set up a challenge for you right here. I want you to change these buttons into links, so you can do that over in index.html. I want you to style them like buttons so they look exactly the same. You've got the CSS here, and you can reuse most of it. Warning, this is going to cause a layout issue. Don't worry, we'll deal with that a bit later. Okay, pause now, have a go at this, and I'll see you back here in just a moment.
Change the buttons to links. Style them like buttons so they look the same. You can reuse most of the CSS. This will cause layout issues. So if we come to the HTML, let's remove this for now. We have track day button. So the only two. Okay, I think I'll do something. Let's go on there compared to here. Personal preference, you know. So, okay. Change the buttons to links. Style them like buttons so they look the same. So change the buttons to links. I'm gonna change this to an A tag, I think. I'll remove this and just make it an A tag. And we come to the live symbol. No. Let's definitely book the. Okay, you know what? I don't know, I think I'll do it inside here. So I don't know if I can do the same command. Okay, now. So A, and then open up the live site, refresh. Okay, this definitely broke the site. Let's do a href. Open empty, please. Href. Does that make it any better? Okay, yes. So we come to the CSS. Background color. So is there a column? Okay, there's a column. So I need to change this into the A tag. Oh, I just need to change the positioning. Let's try and come this side and see what happens. Okay, now that's the padding. The margin. Let's try and come this out. What? Okay. Okay, yeah, you're right, it would. So, text decoration. Oh. Oh. What's happening with this CSS though? Just gonna do this. And then we're gonna come in here and do text creation. Why isn't it recommending? What is it? Yeah, is it just me? Why are there two background colors? I need to know one of those. Then, oh, okay. Oh, oh, there we go. Not, my bad, my bad. So they are clickable. So let's copy this and paste it back inside Scrimba. And then let's change the margin. I should change that. So margin top, set it to 0 and see what happens. Is it like a parent contain? Can I do that? I don't know. No. Let's do dot a container. Okay, no, broad, no, okay. Just come here and do this, there. Here, this, this. So we can here. So I don't know if this will work though. Okay, yeah, there we go. So if I come and uncomment this out, and I do 200 pixels, and I just comment all of these, it's not gonna change. So let's just return. I'm gonna do it to 20 pixels. That works. There we have our buttons. Boom! Yo, I'm a demon. Oh, stream is lagging. Sorry, guys.
Okay, so hopefully you managed to do that just fine. So over in index.html, I am just going to delete these buttons and replace them with anchor tags, and I'll just give them some empty hrefs. And let's just close them as well. Now when I hit save, you can see that we have the layout we want. So let's tap and hit this for now. Okay, let's get started on these buttons. We have got two in
before we do that,
the first section and two in the second section. Now, if you look at this slide, you can see that we've actually got...
I'm going to go to my VS Code to delete the one that was there. Let's do a new one. Close that.
3 different types of button, and that is because more info and contact are actually the same button. We've also got a hover and active state using this light yellow background color, and that is going to be the same on all of the buttons. And in this box, we have got all of the padding, border radius, and font weight information that you need. So let's jump straight into the challenge. Your challenge is to style the 4 button style links as per the specifications on this slide. Group the selectors where possible to keep the code dry. And I've just put a warning here. Think about what would make good class names for these button links. There's no right or wrong answer to that. I just want you to bear it in mind. Okay, pause now, give it your best shot, and I'll see you back here in just a moment.
Standard property style link as per the So how many buttons do we have? Oh, it's not even styled though, so that's the problem. So we have these are buttons. Oh, they are. Let's check this image. And choose. Okay. About his contact. All right. So. Okay. Buy button, info button. I'll start with those. So type public reads links. This is a challenge. Okay. Buy button. I need to check on the specifications of the. Okay, so these are low-key kind of different. They actually are, all of them. So, color, white smoke, background, 5, F29, A3, hash. We need to do the padding. Check pixels top and bottom. So 10 pixels by 19 pixels. Yeah, border radius 4.6 pixels. Font weight 500. And yeah, the hover states. Do they have any hover states? No. Oh my, this hover state looks ugly. Okay. Put on background. Let's check F0E0FF. Oh, is that white? No. I need to remove the text decoration. Text decoration now. Okay, yeah, that's better. And change the background, change the okay, now I see. Okay, so for all these buttons, we're gonna create even this, we're gonna remove this. Just have a few different differences. So I'm gonna leave this side aside. So now let's hover and active. There we go. About us, and we had another one. No? Contact. More info about us. Is that not contact? Oh, contact is copying more info. Okay. Yeah, contact is copying more info. So more info. Oh. So about and contact. So select one. About button. Contact button. And then color. Select the color. Background. Smoke. So contact button, info button. You're gonna make this the same. Okay, F. This is the background. F0. Da. Color. Oh. 2983. Okay. That looks about right. So I need to select all of them. So dot buy button. Oh, dot info button. Dot about button. Contact button. Dot info button. And let's make it a bit clean so that appealing. Just like that. Going to see padding. 10 pixels. Oh, 10 pixels by 19 pixels. Let's say border radius 4.6 pixels. I need to see what that does. Border radius. Oh. Border radius in 5 pixels, border radius 50. Oh. I didn't see it in real time though. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. It's just a little bit confusing. What the rounded corners. Also, it changes the whole. Oh, I see. Oh, just changes everything. Because I was wondering how people make the sites that have. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, now I get it though. Yo, this is nice. Hold on, let me try something. What if I need something? Yeah, something like this. So, top right. Is it left, right? To 80. Yeah. Ooh. So when you click some, yo, this makes so much sense now. Let's actually loosen it a bit. So let's see 60. Let's also change this to 60. What if we say 50 though? God, this changes so much. So can we make the top? What if we put a negative? Can we? Oh, we can't. So let's see what it says. Alright, really, that's it. So what if you put 0? Okay. Okay. Okay, now it makes sense. I don't know what, bro. MDN is actually good. This is nice. This is nice, nice. What if you say? Can you say -30? You can't. You can't see. You can't put any negative values. Okay, now it makes sense. Oh, we disconnected. Okay, we're back. How's the quality though? Because on my end, it's kind of a little bit, but. I mean, I can't complain. The quality is okay. Oh, we can work with this. But damn. Yeah, that's fine. That makes so much sense. Okay, so this changes how what gets applied. Let's see. Border radius 4.6 pixels. So it's all over. I think it's how it gets rounded. So if you comment this out, oh yes, gets rough. So you don't have to do. Wait, what? I think this whole. Yeah, I'm actually tripping. This whole time. Okay, I'm sorry, man. Let's just continue. If I think I'm going crazy. Okay, now I need to put no text decoration text. Decoration none. And then boom. We have buttons. Now we need to make the hover state. So we need to copy all this. So copy. Need to do hover. We need to do the same thing, but for active also. So hashtag back. Oh no. Background. Ground. Hashtag F3H5 and color 2B2H3A. Following the hash. Same with this one, so I'm just gonna copy the properties. Boom. So does that know how it works? So how do you apply the this is weird. I forgot any commas, anything. Good, buddy. Okay. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Not to declare another state on multiple Selected elements. Sense. Only 10 years ago. Each comes with an item should like a couple sections. They all need different names though. Fire button and info button. Okay. Okay, I think I got it now. So you can't just have it generally for all of these. You need to have it like this. Like this. Like this. Like this. Like this. And then. Uh-oh, something's not right. So that's hover. This is active. Let's see. Active. Oh. Active. 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 Please. Let's go. Okay, we're good. It's really helpful. Oh my, that's really helpful. So now, I think it's over it. Should be right. Let's check. Let's check on it. Oh, wrong place. Let's check in with Scramble, guys. Let's check in with Scramble. Check solution. Let's go.
Okay, hopefully that went just fine. So the first thing that we need to do is head over to index.html and give these buttons some class names. Now I'm just going to minimize the mini browser. In terms of how we name these buttons, I'm going to call them BTN dark, BTN mid.
I'm not watching all of this.
Let's make the start darker. Now hover. Now if I just copy all of those, braces, and there our share under be good the buttons, and we've got the same problem here. Okay, let's talk about block inline and inline block elements. We need to see if we can figure out what's going on here with these links that we've styled like buttons. Somehow the margin that we've got in our CSS, we've got this margin top of 20 pixels here, this is not working. Let's just try whacking that up to 200 or even 2000. These links are not moving, so something is going wrong here. So what's actually happening? Well, let's go and look at block elements to start with. So block elements stack on top of each other. Div, P, H1 are all examples of block elements, and of course there are plenty of others. You can set the height and margin top and bottom on a block element. And we can see block elements in action right here. We've got this H2. So if I go to index.html and I just copy this h2 and we hit save, well, of course, we see the h2 stacked on top of each other, and we already know in the CSS that we can have a margin top here if we want of, say, 100 pixels. So there we are, the margin top is respected. Okay, let's put that back how it was. Okay, next we come on to inline elements. Now, inline elements sit side by side. Span and A are examples of inline elements. And this makes a certain amount of sense because if you have a link or a span in a text, you don't want that to take a new line. Now, we can't set the height and margin top and bottom on an inline element. Now, that is crucial to us right here, because what we've got with these links is inline elements. And what we're trying to do with this CSS is set the margin top. Well, that is not possible with inline elements. But we can do something about that because inline block elements are coming to the rescue. So inline block elements sit side by side just like inline elements. Button and input are good examples of inline block elements, and we can set the height and margin top and bottom. So in a way, with inline block elements, we are getting the best of both worlds. They're sitting in line, but we can control both the height and the margin. So what do we need to do to get these links behaving exactly like buttons in terms of having this margin top respected? Well, I put a little challenge for you right here. All I want you to do is set the display property of the links to inline block. So pause now, have a go at that, and I'll see you back here in just a moment.
This is easy, but damn, that makes so much sense. So display, put it to inline block. Easy. Let's go. Now it changed automatically. I didn't have to. That's nice. That's nice. That's beautiful.
Okay, so hopefully you managed to do this.
It is absolutely beautiful.
Great.
I heard with display you have to always put at the top of the other CSS properties.
Okay, so these buttons are looking fine in themselves, but the space between them and the paragraph text is really bothering me. Now, one thing that we could try is to put some...
Damn. Okay, we're back. We're back in stream.
Now, one thing that we could try is to put some margin on these buttons. Okay, so these buttons are looking fine in themselves, but the space between them and the paragraph text is really bothering me. Now, one thing that we could try is to...
I don't want to do that.
It's really bothering me. Now, one thing that we could try is to put some margin on these buttons. So why don't you do that now? Just come in here to this group selector and see if you can give the buttons a margin of 10 pixels just to increase the space between the text and the button. Pause now and try that.
Hold on, what do you say? One more time.
It's really bothering me. Now, one thing that we could try is to put some margin on these buttons. So why don't you do that now? Just come in here to this group selector and see if you can give the buttons a margin of 10 pixels just to increase the space between the text and the button. Pause now and try that.
Okay.
Okay, did it work?
I mean, hold on, I didn't even try it. Oh. I need to be able to scroll down, but it's not gonna let me. You know what? It's fine. Let me just copy and paste. It's right here. And then there's the stream, okay? Hold on, buddy. Is the stream doing fine? Stream seems to be fine. Okay. So, this man said he wants me to space this thing out What line was he on? On 40 something. All right here. So he wants me to use margin. I think I'll use left 10 pixels, just 10 pixels specifically. I gotta follow all this read. Okay, it's not going all of this. Back. Okay. Oh, that's right. He gave them different names. Gotta do boom, bomb, and bomb. Let's comment this out and see if it changes to become any. Uh-oh. Become any better. So, okay, yeah, I did. Definitely did. So now copy. Go back to the scrim. Paste. Voila. Uh-oh. Copy. Paste. And voila. Okay, it worked.
Work? No, it didn't. If we come in here and we put a margin on these buttons, well, look what happens. They space out right and left, but it doesn't increase the space between the text and the button. Now that's happening because these links are inline elements, so margin is not recognized on the top and the bottom. So we might as well go ahead and delete that. Now the problem with these being recognized
the text
inline elements is that if we were to come up here to the P selector and take away the default margin by setting the margin to 0, well, look what happens. Now we have got overlap, and that is the worst look on a website ever. So let's go back to our default margin, but we do need to solve this problem. So I've got, of course, a challenge for you. I want you to use the display property to make the new links behave more like buttons. I've left that quite general because I think you know what to do here. So pause now, get that sorted out. It's only one line of CSS, and I'll see you back here in just a moment.
Okay, so we need to do display inline block. Why do we do that? So that we can be able to change the margin top and bottom of the element, so that we can create a space up and below. So if we do that and we refresh this page, and does he still have okay, yeah, there's some spacing, right? Yeah, I think there's some spacing. Okay, resume the lesson. Oh.
Okay, hopefully you managed to get that sorted. You should have remembered that all we need here is the display property, and we're going to display these button style links as inline block. And as soon as we do that, look what's happened. They've spaced themselves out nicely, and what's more, if we ever wanted to put a margin on them, we could. Now if we put the 10 pixels, look, they get bigger. We can add 100 pixels if we want. And likewise, if we go back to the P selector, if we did want to take the margin here down to 0, at least the buttons don't overlap. They are, of course, too crowded, but they don't overlap with the text. So that is exactly what we wanted. Okay, now the layout is looking good. We've got a little bit more to do in terms of refactoring, and we'll come on to that next.
All right, Per. All right, Pierre. I think there's something wrong with my Wi-Fi. Oh yeah, it's bad. Oh, it's back to being good. It was bad though. Dang. Damn. My FPS ain't even hitting 30 though. And now it is. I mean 60, nothing.
Okay, let's look at how we can apply two CSS classes to the same element and why that's sometimes a good idea.
Oh, what did I just do?
Okay, let's look at how we can apply two CSS classes to the same element and why that's sometimes a good idea. I'm building myself an app to help me keep an eye on my tech stocks. All I want to be able to do is to see at a glance if the stocks I own are going up or going down at any given moment. So I've got a pretty clear color scheme going on here. The stocks which are rising in price are green, the stocks which are falling in price are red, and the stocks which are not changing are in black. And it's really good to see that the Scrimba price is on the up. Now, if we look at the CSS,
I mean, you can't
just
see
like
it,
before,
but yeah.
I've done a bit too much work. Look, I've got these three classes here, price up, price down, and price equal, and there's a lot of repetition going on. This is not dry. Now, we could do what we did before with the group selectors. So we would say price up, comma, and then price down, etc., etc. Now, that's fine, but I think there's something else we could do here, which is going to be even neater and in the long run, even less work. And we're going to do that by putting two classes on one element. So if I go over to index.html, I'm just going to move the mini browser out of the way a second. Now here we've got all of the cards. And what I'm going to do is where we've got the price at the bottom of each.
Oh, now I can see it. So Tesla, Apple, Google, Amazon, total spend. Damn. Okay.
Each card, I'm actually going to add an extra class. Now, this extra class could go before or after, it doesn't really matter, but to be neat and be consistent, I'm actually just going to put it at the beginning. I'm going to call this new class price. And to put two classes on one element, all we need to do is list them right here inside these speech marks and put a space between them. It might feel intuitive that they be comma separated or something like that. They are not. That will break it. And of course, if there's no space, that would just be completely confusing because that says something completely different. So what we want is as many classes as we want separated by a space. Okay, I'm going to work my way down this code and I'm going to add a class of price to each of these elements at the bottom of each card. And now I'm going to save that and we can head back to index.css. Of course, nothing has changed so far. Now, I'm just going to cut and paste you a quick challenge. Okay, so here's your challenge. I want you to put all of the shared properties from these three classes here in a new selector for the price class. And then I want you to delete any CSS we no longer need.
All right.
So pause now, have a go at that, and I'll see you back here in just a second.
For sure. Here it is. Oregon. Look at my bro. My screen will be bugging though. Trying to do this. Got to. No, don't change. Don't change. Okay, there. Alright, different stocks. I wanna buy some. And then what we need to do, he said, up here, the price selector, and then we need to, make it clean. Oh, I've done something. Okay, yeah, we've used some other brackets which are not allowed. Price up, font, weight, bold, padding of 5 pixels, margin top, margin top, margin top, 2 pixels, border radius 2.6 pixels, box shadows, that's rare, that's blah, 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 blah. I feel like so until here. It's good, right? Box shadow. Damn, I wish I could change this. I want to change it, but I don't. It has all the same properties. Come to the CSS, paste, check solution. Yay!
Okay, so let's come in here and we'll create a price class. And then all we need to do is cut and paste the shared properties. So that's everything bar the bottom two properties from each of these three classes.
I've just done that, but it's okay.
First one. Now
we are back. We're back. To middle of this.
So let's look at a better way to deal with the CSS for these button style links. Based on what we've just learned, I think we can reduce the repetition here and do this in a neater, easier to understand way. So here's a challenge for you. I want you to refactor the CSS for these button style links using two classes on each link element. And I've just put a warning here. Think about what you're going to call the new class that you'll need to create. Now, while you're doing this, just remember that we've got the links and we have also got the hover and active state on those links. So be sure to cover everything. So pause now, have a go at this, and I'll see you back here in just a moment.
So it's so nice, it's so bright, so super fine, casualistic, you only know about everything. You made to get a cry, you need to share the path of your endeavor. Should I name this? Let's name it BTNs. Oh, BTNs. I want to see what the stream looks like on YouTube before someone clicks on it. Let's go. Doesn't look like this. Plus this. That is what I'm talking about, dude. Alrighty. Alright. 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 Love you. I'm tired of you. You cry for you. It did not break. Yeah. I don't want to tell me stop. My mind, hold on, just hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let's go to the back, and I want to stay now.
The sort of class just Dixon to this look.
I already did it there. I'm on a roll today. I haven't failed. Okay, maybe I have, but
so up
yeah,
until this point, Flexbox has been making our lives so much simpler than it could be. It's one of the best things about CSS for sure. Now, let me introduce you to another feature of Flexbox that is just incredible. Let's have a look at this website right here. So I've got some of my all-time favorite YouTube videos showing...
Bro, I cannot see website. I must see it's over there, but I can't, bro. What? What is it?
Right here. But the problem is that these thumbnails are continuing along this horizontal line, as you can see by scrolling. Now, of course, this is a horrible user experience. So let's fix this problem by using something called Flex Wrap. Now check this out. So all I gotta do is tell Flexbox, hey, take all of the elements inside of this parent div and wrap it around the max width of the parent element. Okay, let's do it now. So Flex Wrap, and then we'll say, yes, please, we do want to wrap it. So let's do that. And there we go. Isn't that amazing?
Can't see it though, so I don't think it's amazing, bro. Hold on. I'm gonna see it live in action. You already know what I'm saying, dude. You already know what I'm saying. Boy, I don't play, so I don't play. Play, you play. Yeah, you play. You're playing games with me now. Playing with me now. And from there, those 53 grids have different sections. Yo, I could have used this for my project, bro. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave my GitHub. github.com/coding-with-fabs. You guys don't know. Over there, hit a follow. Hey. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing too much to say. But yeah, bro, I could have used this for my project and then, yeah. But like, bro, that's crazy. It's actually crazy. Uh-oh. No. No. Okay, that's actually good, though. Actually, I know about this. I don't know about this. It's good.
You see how beautiful that looks? Imagine how much more CSS we would need to write without FlexWrap. Now, before we end the sprint, let me show you two more values that you can put right in here.
Okay.
So the others would be no wrap, which takes you back to the default.
Okay.
And then there's wrap reverse, which of course reverses the order. So let's take it back to wrap, and there we go. Beautiful.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, bro. I don't know your name, but thank you, bro. Overflow.
Let's talk about overflow. So you might well have come across situations like this where you've got a container, but the text it's holding is actually not staying inside it. Now, people often find this behavior of CSS really strange, and it spawned 1,000 memes just like this one. Now, I've actually got this coded up already. So here we have a div and it's got the text inside it. And if we look at the CSS, we can see that we've got the black border right here on the div. And we're also defining the width and height in pixels. And the outcome is this disaster right here. So
let me see that. I want to see that disaster. I want to see the disaster. I want to see the disaster. Disaster. Oh yeah, that is a fact. Disaster. That is a fact. Disaster. Disaster.
So basically, overflow happens when there's too much content, like we've got here, for the size of the container, which is defined here. But why exactly does CSS behave in this way? Well, firstly, it is intended behavior. This is not a CSS bug. And it's designed to do it this way to prevent data loss. So page content is still visible even if the container is too small. If this wasn't the case, you could end up with a situation where some key content was missing and it made the website unusable. And we'll see an example of that in just a moment. Okay, let's just have an overview of the problems that this can cause. So firstly, we've got layout issues. We're disrupting the intended layout, and we might be overlapping other elements, making content unreadable. Now, this brings up accessibility concerns, particularly if users are changing, for example, text size. So they want the text to be bigger, but when they increase the size, it actually overflows its container and, as we said above, makes some other content unreadable or unusable. And on top of that, we've also got aesthetic disruption. So visible overflow can make a website look messy and unprofessional. All of this can be very, very annoying. So what can we do about it? Well, firstly, let's examine the default behavior. So the default is overflow visible. And that means if content exceeds the boundaries of its container, it will be visible outside the container. And that is exactly what we've got here. So it's the equivalent of me coming in here and putting overflow visible. So that is the default setting, which is what gives us the layout we've got right now. Now we can override this, we've got some options, and let's start off with overflow hidden. And overflow hidden will hide the excess content, and that's useful for maintaining the layout, but it can of course lead to inaccessibility.
What do you say it is? Overflow hidden. Overflow. You're done. Oh yeah, that definitely buggy. What? What the heck? What did that do to my... Hey.
Content. So let's come in here. I'm going to delete default and change visible to hidden. Well, as soon as I do that, all of the overflowing content disappears. But now imagine if I go to the HTML and I add a button. So I hit save, and where is the button? Well, let's try toggling this property. Now you see it, now you don't. So what we're
I see it. I don't. I see it. I don't.
actually doing there is hiding some really important content. That button would obviously do something, and now it's hidden, it's unusable. So let's just take that away, and that shows us the drawback of using overflow hidden. So what are the other options? Well, next up we've got overflow scroll, and that adds a scroll bar to the container, but it will do that even if there is no overflow. Let's just see what I mean. So we'll come in here now and say overflow scroll, and it looks like all of the overflowing content is hidden, but if I come into this box, I can actually scroll left and right and up and down. So all of the content is there and it is viewable. Now I said that it will add the scroll bar even if there is no overflow. Well, and that adds a scroll bar only when needed, i.e. when there's an overflow. So we can just come in here, change that to auto, and again I can scroll up and down, and I can scroll left and right. But if we were to remove some of the content, now I can scroll left and right, but obviously I can't scroll up and down. There's no need to. There's not enough content for a scroll bar to be necessary. And again, you will see different scroll bar behavior on different browsers and operating systems. Okay, let's go back to how we were. Now, on top of what we've just seen, we have also got overflow X and overflow Y. And these help us to control the overflow behavior separately for horizontal and vertical content to some extent. I've put a warning here. Overflow X hidden and overflow Y visible don't work together. So if I come in here and add those properties, what I actually see is all of the overflow hidden. So those two don't work together. But what you could do is have overflow X hidden and overflow Y scroll. Now, when I come in here, I cannot scroll left to right, but I can scroll up and down on the Y axis. So again, pause and have a play with that to see it in action. And as setting the overflow X and Y can be a little bit tricky with a few gotchas, it is just worth experimenting and reading up in the docs a little bit if you find you need to deal with the overflow on the X and Y axis separately. So in general, remember that restricting the container dimensions with the width and the height properties for a container holding text, as we're doing here, can be problematic. And that's because there might be more text than you expected when you designed the site, or the text might be larger, for example, if the user has increased their font size for accessibility purposes. Now, there are of course good use cases. Imagine if we had a chatbot. Well, as the conversation grows, if you didn't do something with the overflow, the containing box would have to be absolutely huge. So it's normal for a chatbot for the container to be set to scroll at least on the Y-axis, so the user can scroll up and down through the conversation. So there's a solid use case for using the overflow property, and if you'd like a bit more information, you can click this link to read up on the MDN docs.
Okay, we're on the last one, and then that's it for today's stream, bro.
Let's talk about
I don't really study like this all at once, you know. It's kind of a lot. Oh, I'm in for it though. This is fun. I like it.
Using the CSS float property. Float is used for floating images inside columns of text, just like we've got here. So this is kind of typical of newspaper article styling. Let's have a look in practice. I've got a layout like this, and in the HTML I've got an image right here, and then this is the paragraph of text. Now it looks pretty weird at the moment. We've got the image and then the text is just underneath, and there's all of this space to the right hand side. So let's head over to the CSS, and I'm going to come in here to the image, and I'm going to give it the float property, and I'm going to set it to left. And as soon as I do that, the text wraps around the image with the image on the left. And I have also got the opportunity here to float this to the right. But I've actually already put the margins in here, and I set them for a left-hand float. That's why it looks a bit congested here, so I'm going to change this back to a float left. In the past, this technique was also used for creating multi-column layouts, but now we've got much better tools for that. Flexbox is good for that, but also CSS Grid, which is something you'll learn about much later. So you shouldn't be using float for column layouts, although you might see that on some old legacy codebase. But for situations like this where you want an image with text wrapped around it, it's absolutely fine. Now there's a property which goes with float which we need to look at. It's called clear, and it specifies what should happen with the element that is next to a floating element. So if we head back to the HTML then, I've got my image right here, we've got the paragraph of text, and it's got the class para1. So let's imagine that I know that I absolutely don't want anything ever to float to the left of this paragraph. Well, in the CSS, I've got a selector for para1 right here. So this is where I can use the clear property, and I can just say clear left. And what that means is nothing will float to the left of that element. Now I could also use clear right. That's not going to make any difference here because we haven't actually got anything floating to the right of this text. And the third option is actually clear both. That will stop anything floating on either the left or the right. Now, to be honest, we don't really want that now, so I'm going to toggle that off and put it back to how it was. I think that looks good, but good to know that the clear option is here. Now, there are some other uses for floats, because devs realized that they could float anything, not just images, which gives us some quite fun ideas. So we can use drop caps, and that's what you can see right here. We've got this massive capital first letter floated to the left of the rest of the text. But you could also use float for floating quotes or floating information boxes, just to give a few examples. But let's check out how it would work with this drop caps idea. So I've got some text already here, which we're just going to uncomment. There's the text. We've got our drop cap. Now it's already styled, but look, it's really weird. It's sitting really awkwardly. It's kind of half above the text. The pink background is overlapping. So let's just remember.
What is it called? What is it called? What is it called? I have it in my code. Oh, no, it's not overflow. The other one, we're just learning it. Hold on, let me find out. Inline block. You can change the height.
That it's got the class of drop cap, and then we'll head over to the CSS. Here's drop cap. It's got all of the styles we want. We've got this font family here, which is giving us this big B. So let's just come in here and float that to the left, which is also inside a container. Now in index.css, we can see that the image is already set to float left. If we take that out of the equation, well, now everything changes and we're back to square one. We've got the weird space up here. So we want the image to float left, but we also really want the image to be inside its container. Okay, there's a special trick that we can use to do this. Let's go back to index.html. We can see that the paragraph has got the class of para3. In the CSS, if we scroll down, here's para3. It's got its border and its padding. Let's come in here and we're going to set the display property. And we're going to set that to something new. We're going to set it to flow root. And as soon as we do that, it actually brings the image inside the container. Or perhaps it's better to say it stretches the container around the image. Now this works because when we use float on an element, it actually takes it outside of the flow of the document. But what flow root does is it ensures the floated element is contained inside the parent element where display flow root is set. So you could think of it that this element is now rooted in the flow of its parent. It's no longer outside of the flow. That is a little bit of a simplification, but that's quite a good way of understanding it. Okay, so that was a really quick intro into the world of float. As I say, Flexbox and Grid have surpassed float now when it comes to column layouts, so you don't see it as often as you used to, but it is a good thing to know about, and you will come across it for floating images to the left, funky stuff like drop caps, and probably in some legacy code as well.
That's it? Oh my. We're
Hey,
actually...
welcome to the challenges section, just like the previous.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Let me do my outro. So next, we already know what we're going to be working with. Making a whole... We started at 13 something percent, bro. We're done. 26 out of 26. Holy. Yeah, man. We're halfway to the essential CSS. By the time we're done with this, we're gonna be at 36, and then plus this, sure we'll be done. I can finally go to JavaScript. So yeah, man, all we have left is building a portfolio. That should be fun. Let's check out the what we got going on. So we're done with this, thank God. Yeah, man, it's been fun. It's been a fun first stream, even though I haven't got anyone to watch. I don't really care about all that, honestly. I just wanna, stream. It's fun. I wanna talk to people. I wanna do my own thing. Yeah, so after that, I'm gonna build a co-working space site. Hopefully by then, Scrimba, if you ever watch this, if you're watching this, bro, don't, just renew my subscription for me, I'm a student, I'm self-taught, bro. I don't work, bro. Just, hey, put me on a 50% deal. Hey, if you already know, they're running a Scrim Ambassador. If you want to support me, you can just use my, oh my bad. You can just use my link. You'll get, I think, 20% off. And it helps me out when I'm trying to, study. Because I want to study. I love coding. I love studying. Yeah, once that happens, we're gonna be good. Yeah, that's been it for this stream. I can't lie. It's been a fun stream. I really enjoyed just streaming for the first time. It's my first stream ever. Never streamed in my life. Considering I'm doing face cam and all of that, I'm not that type of guy. But hey, sometimes you have to, step foot out of your comfort zone and do things that you not want to do. So it's been fun. I really enjoyed it. It's pushed me to finished this specific topic on essential CSS, building the NFT site, which we've already finished. And yeah, it's been fun, man. It's just been enjoyable. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I might stream later today, tonight actually. I don't know. It depends. But yeah, I hope you guys, whoever is watching, I hope you enjoyed watching. Even though I know I didn't have any views, but it's okay. Doesn't matter. Hope you guys enjoyed. And see you guys evening or tomorrow.